ToonGrin.com.
Valentine's Day. While some may look at Valentine's Day as a greeting card holiday and nothing more than a soulless cash grab, by which some I mean NERO, I really do love Valentine's Day for the core values of affection and bonding that it promotes. So I wanted to throw my hat into the love ring by giving a list of my top 10 animated crushes from cartoons, anime, movies, and shows. These are Cartoon Corner's picks. By the way, I am bisexual. Now let's get started. Sam from Totally Spies. One of my classic crushes from my Canadian childhood. Totally Spies is a show that I watched religiously growing up, and in turn, I got crushes on our main three spy gals from Whoop. Alex the sporty brute one, Clover the vanilla one, and my pick Sam, the smart one. This would arguably be the shallowest crush I have on this list, as my crush mostly started because of the skin-tight jumpsuits and them being designed as teenage hot Charlie's Angels, which was perfect for my prepubescent hormones. But now that I'm older, I see a lot more Sam's positive traits. She's brainy but not stuck up, a confident, competent leader, but also shows a light and goofy compassion for her friends, and she just kicks major ass as a spy, which done in that tight green suit makes me think she's pretty alright. Gantu from Lilo and Stitch. Really, me? The big whale guy from Lilo and Stitch? Astonishingly, yes. Not from the movie, admittedly, as in the movie he is just depicted as a no-compromising career-driven headhunter after a cute blue alien koala Stitch. Nothing really redeemable or crush-worthy there. It wasn't until the Lilo and Stitch TV show where Gantu is brought into the employ of Professor Hamsterville that you get to see a new side of him. Not only is this driven nature of the film kept intact, but his gentler side has time to develop as well, specifically with his interaction with Experiment 625, the propulsion sandwich-making alien. The duo becomes like an old gay couple, with Gantu as the working man and 625 as the housewife, being there to help Gantu vent his frustrations and enjoy a nice sandwich. It's better than the other couple we have on this show. Ugh. Gantu may be a big lumbering headhunter, but his driven ideology and his soft side brought on by stress just makes you want to hug him so much. Velma Dinkley from Scooby-Doo. Usually on these sort of crush lists you would find Daphne in this spot, as of course of all the Scooby Gang, Daphne is designated the pretty one, the damsel, the female MacGyver in one show. But I'm the type of guy who just glosses over when confronted with the pretty girl archetype. Velma, by contrast, is designated the nerd, what with a big turtleneck and thick Coke bottle frame glasses, but Velma for the longest time showed vastly more self-awareness, charm, and spunk than Daphne ever could muster. Primarily in Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, you also see Velma at her most dimensional romance-wise, and although she may have been too forceful for shagging even my taste, it showed an intellectual girl who was ready to express emotions and be there for the one she cared for. She just needed a better boyfriend, obviously. But if we're gonna go back to thinking she's really not all that good looking, check her out in Camp Scare. Oh, jinkies. DJ Detweiler from Recess. Rewatching Recess really made me reflect on why I loved it so much growing up. While I really love the cast for the most part, there are stock variety kids. Sporty, smarty, toughy, softy, and wuss, just to name a few. But not TJ. Theodore Detweiler is the rambunctious trickster character, always getting into trouble, pulling pranks, and messing around with his friends. But TJ's sense of justice and what's right drives him away from being just a stock character. TJ could be kind, empathetic, and compassionate and still hold on to his childlike innocence like anybody should. Even at his lowest, like when he went insane from solitary confinement, his way of crazy shows a vastly more colorful personality than any of his other friends' crazy moments. Sure, he spews a morality speech every day at 3rd Street, but he is arguably the most rounded member of the group, and by being such a positive influence as well as genuinely being a fun guy, I could see myself really admiring him. Kim Possible. Okay, so take Sam, toss her in a blender, add in Batman, hit frappe, and you got the Kim Possible milkshake experience. Kim is sort of a blend of all three spies into one. She's sporty like Alex for her love of cheerleading, she's a bit of a girly girl like Clover with an eye for fashion and enjoyment of the male persuasion, and she is wicked smart like Sam. She's not only a world-trotting diva of bad attitude, who too has many gadgets based on hair care and girl products, but she's her own girl. standing up on her own and taking on any challenge with a spring in her step and a humble empathy at heart. With the Totally Spies, while I loved the girls, a lot of their personality and drama were kind of handcuffed to stereotype girly things, boys, and makeup. Kim, however, has a rounder outlook. While she does partake in those aspects of life like any girl does, she approaches it with a self-awareness that is both real to the scope of her worldly experience and humble, being appreciative of everyone from her best friend and family to making it this far. So Kim's a sweet, badass girl. And she's pretty cute too. Akane Hiyama from Love Tyrant. 2 key points to make. Love Tyrant is not a good anime or manga, and yandere characters, aka crazy murder girlfriends, are not usually my type of crushes. Looking at you, you know, Gasai. But Akane seems to brush a particular romantic nerve with me that makes me find her both insanely hot and adorable. It possibly helps that most of the characters, namely the 2 main ones, are wetter than the wettest newspaper in comparison. And while Akane can be boasted as the prettiest girl in school, we see that she finds herself completely cold to that notion. She doesn't really care about being the prettiest or the most popular. What she does care about is being seen for who she is. A never-endingly caring individual. And unlike other yanderes, she doesn't force her love on her crush, but simply shows it. I admire that selflessness in a romantic character like that, and love the idea of giving affection to such a devoted level. So is it any wonder that when the main butt whistler herself, the Love Tyrant, barges through messing her romance up, I'm rooting for Akane to put 2 combat knives through her skull. Cornelius Fillmore from Fillmore. Another one from the old childhood, one of my favorite shows, so of course it holds one of the smoothest talking characters around. Fillmore is basically a kid's version of CSI, and with that, Fillmore falls under many CSI character umbrellas. He's a rogue getting back on the straight and narrow. He plays by his own rules, and he can break you down as the tough bad cop, or lift your spirits up as the good cop. Fillmore made me seriously debate becoming a safety patrol officer in middle school because I idolized his cool, calm, collected attitude so much. Then I realized that job doesn't exist, and I instead looked into being a forensic identification officer. Basically Canadian CSI. Although my future didn't follow that path, Fillmore became the positive light for morality and justice that made me hope I find a partner just like him. Cyber 6. Mysterious, brooding, and badass. This is my version of Batman that I got all mushy for. If you remember from my Canadian cartoons review, Cyber 6 is an artificial human developed by a Nazi scientist who led a double life in the coastal city of Meridiana. By day, he was the high school English teacher Adrian Seidelman, but by night, she would transform into the black leather-clad hero Cyber 6. Both personas I grew a fondness for, as both sides are obviously part of the same emotionally fragile whole. Cyber 6 can clearly take care of herself when it comes to physical bouts, but my heart melts during her moments of weakness. She lets her facade fade away for a time to show her deeply bruised and fragile nature, always trying to hide it so that she can be the one targeted and no one else is hurt. This self-sacrificing nature of Cyber 6 puts a toll on all of her loved ones around her, but it also shows a ceaseless empathy that makes Cyber 6 unabashedly lovable and nurturing. Juvia Luxor from Fairytale. Easily my anime best girl. Juvia started out as the typical anime bad guy turned good, acting as the ultimate water wizard at Fairytale's rival guild. But upon being openly accepted into Fairytale, she becomes the guild's most emotionally unbridled sweetheart. Sporting a deep love for her first love, Grateful Buster, here with the nice abs, she worked from a sad and lonely beginning to becoming one of the guild's top tier respected wizards. And how couldn't she earn respect as every one of Juvia's actions, while first showing the paper-thin yandere craziness, deep down shows Juvia's bottomless love for her guild, her friends, and Gray. She puts everything on the line so that she can express all her feelings as she won't be held back anymore, and I love that about her, to be totally okay with expressing your feelings no matter how over the top and embarrassing they are. She's a beautiful woman, but not just on the outside, but truly deep in her emotional waterfall of a heart. Mr. Peanut Butter from Bojack Horseman. Bojack Horseman as a show is brimmed with a lot of hijinks, with many raw and uncomfortable feelings and emotions. constantly rocking the viewer's sensibilities as events and choices shift how we fundamentally perceive our 5 main characters. My perception of Mr. Peanut Butter, however, has always stayed the same. Although he can be slightly dim, he is without question the most loving, compassionate, and devoted character I know. A character I would consider to be the perfect love. Now, the perfect love of your life isn't necessarily the perfect person. With PB, he can get carried away and become absorbed in his craziness, losing track of the plot around him. But there's more to affection than finding the pros in a person. The perfect love just means the perfect love for you. The love of someone who can accept you for who you are, pros, cons, and all. And for all those who love Mr. Peanut Butter, I am sure we all know that he is a good boy when it comes to loving you no matter what. And I know he's my top animated crush, who I'll love to the fullest. P.S. Diane Nguyen, you do not deserve Mr. Peanut Butter. You are what I would call emotionally vindictive garbage. Stop it. Happy Valentine's Day from Cartoon Corner and ToonGrin. Do you have any animated crushes? If so, place them in the comments below and let's share our animated loves. And if you want to get more love today, my friend SaberSpark just put out a video of his cartoon crushes. He's got some great choices and I highly recommend checking it out in the description below. But if you want to show more love to ToonGrin, please be sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and give that bell a tap to keep up with our videos. And if you like, feel free to follow us on ToonGrin.com and support us via Patreon or TeePublic. Links are in the description below. And as always, be sure to tune in to ToonGrin.